Okay, folks, we are coming back on the air now. We apologize for that interruption. Apparently, with the weather that's in the area, for some reason or another, we lost the. And Dale and I were talking. I think that's maybe the first time in the history of our show that we've had that particular problem. But the good news is we're back up and running. We feel confident that we're going to be able to finish out without further interruption. But guys, just bear with us. And we're going to pick up right where we left off. We're joined live on the phone right now by my co-host, not able to make it here tonight, Brian Hester. And Brian, we want you to give us a recap of everything that happened this past weekend, and then we will shift our attention to the Alabama state race over at Phoenix City. You can start wherever you like, man. What happened this weekend?
Okay, going back to what we was talking about, well, Southern All-Stars was at Smoky Mountain Raceway, like I said before. It's one of the historic tracks in Tennessee that's still open after probably better part of 50 years now. And big track, shout out to one of my old go-kart competitors, Mr. Chris Madden, Old Smoky. He gets into a newer chassis. If I'm not mistaken, it's a new Longhorn car, and which that's kind of the brand that's doing real good right now with Jonathan Davenport. He picks up the win at Smoky Mountain with Billy Ogle as junior comes in second, Randy Weaver third, Mark Douglas fourth, and Riley Hickman. I think we've talked to just about every one of those drivers this year. And didn't you say a while ago you're going to try to talk to Chris tonight?
Yeah, we're going to try.
Okay, all right. And moving on to the Sonoya race that had been put off and over and over and over. I think this thing, they took 4 swipes at it. The 4,000 to win super late model race, Mr. Casey Roberts from Evans, Georgia, comes in first. Austin Smith from Cedartown, Georgia, second. Young kid, kind of ain't got a real close connection, but his dad, Shane Smith, runs Cedartown Electric. I got family that lives in the area, so I know a little bit about him. Austin is kind of one of those kids right now that you can kind of zero in on. He's been running real, real good. Clint Smith comes in third. Kenny Collins was fourth, and Austin Horton was fifth. And anyway, move on. Less than 2 weeks ago, after his big win at World 100 at Eldora, Mr. Davenport reaches across the state line in Indiana and goes over to the little quarter mile. Big contrast difference. You go from big half mile wide open to little bitty quarter mile, not a third mile, not 3/8, but a quarter mile track. One of the oldest tracks in probably the state of Indiana's Brownstown Speedway. Mm-hmm. It originally was an old horse racing track back in the day. Jackson 100, it's an old race. Davenport wins it in fine fashion. Mark Maurer was second. Devin Moran, Donnie Moran's son, with a good finish in third. Brandon Shepard was fourth, and Don O'Neill was fifth. Don, that's pretty good for him. He's not had the year that he is used to. He's that's a good run for them. I know they've been working hard to get better. And moving on, that's pretty much, what I can tell, is last week's biggest event that we could really hang our hat on. Going back to what we was talking about during the break there, Tyler Sanders, the driver of the number 21, tires did check right. He is legal. He is the official $5,000 winner in pure stock from Saturday night at Cochran Motor Speedway. Mm-hmm. So want to give a shout out to him and his dad. They worked hard. They have not had the season that they have had, and they've pounded it and grinded it, and they finally got that big win this year. Shout out to them. Congratulations. And go ahead, and I got on my sheet here in big bold letters, and everybody knows what I'm going to say. State race. It's officially here. Mm-hmm. So come this weekend, and I think everybody that I know, my Facebook feed today started, I think, at approximately 6 o'clock this morning, and I think that's all I've seen is people taking pictures of going to the state race. And I don't know how many friends I got on Facebook, but from South Carolina to Florida to Alabama, all points, Georgia, Tennessee, even seen, I think, a couple from Mississippi. Everybody heading that way, going to state race. Mm-hmm. Everybody got their fingers crossed right now. The dreaded R word is hanging on over there, but they've got enough time, and I think they could still get it all crunched in if it does wind up being 2 days. So anyway, all I can say is everybody better get ready to race in the morning.
Yeah.
But also, don't want to miss this. The new track was Wendell Dennis's track, the All Tech Raceway right outside of Lake City. Want to give a shout out to them too. They're having a National Late Model Sportsman Series race this weekend, Saturday night, 3,000 to win. And still going to probably be a pretty good show. You know, late models are in pretty good abundance between there, Ocala, and Volusia County. So they'll still have a great car count. If anybody's in that way, you can't make the state race this weekend, encourage you to go down and check out the new race, the new facility or revamp facility at All Tech. And knowing Wendell members, you're a lot of good folks, so it ought to be a pretty good show. Before we get any further, want to give out the if it works out, from what I can tell right now, Mark Whitener is going to pull double duty this weekend. He's going to have his personal number 5 car. I'm hoping it's right. If it's not, his wife Bridget will probably let me know after a while. He's going to have his car at East Alabama, and if I'm not mistaken, they'll qualify around dinner time in the late model sportsman. He's going to leave there, and he's going down to drive the 58 car in Lake City Saturday night for that race, and then come back to East Alabama for Sunday.
Now, Brian, you're a truck driver. Just off the top of your head, what kind of miles are you looking at from Phoenix City, Alabama, to where around Lake City? You said. Yeah,
you figure he leaves today. Just say they left today to go over there, or they're leaving in the morning. They're leaving there and going. I'm assuming they might go for tomorrow night's practice. Okay, so you live in Middleburg, Florida, going to Phoenix City, Alabama. I'm gonna say in the wheelhouse of 5.5 to 6 hours across there. Then you figure, and Dale makes you wreck me because Dale lives down that far from Phoenix City back to Lake City. I'm gonna stay at least 3.5 to 4 hours. Is that right, Dale?
Yeah, at least.
At least. Then you figure he's got to go back to East Alabama for that year. So that's 6, 4, 4, and then 6 back to the house. You're looking at 20-something hours of driving.
Wow.
This weekend.
Wow.
And countless miles. I couldn't even think of what the miles would be right now. You're looking at 240, 250 on mile 500. You're looking close to 1,000 miles of driving this weekend.
Yeah.
1,000
Not to mention all the laps that you log between practice and all of the racing. I mean, it just that Alabama event, it never gets old. I don't care how many years it's been going. The excitement and the buzz is always seems like it's bigger year after year. And, it is just an exhausting event. It's a fun time, but I couldn't imagine him doing that. But, Brian, before I let you go, I want to make another comment. Going back to the Southern Thunder late model race we had at Cochran, the top 3, Pearson Lee Williams was 3rd. A young man from Florida, Kyle Van Sickle, was 2nd. Ben Faircloth won the race. It was a great race. But the point that I want to make, of course, congrats to Pearson Lee and Ben. Both drove a great race. But Kyle Van Sickle had never, ever been to Cochran, ever. And he ended up finishing 2nd to Faircloth. That was a pretty big accomplishment in today's world, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Considering he hadn't seen the track, I think he said in his post-race interview, I don't think he'd ever seen it or been close to it.
Only on YouTube is what he said. Only video.
Yeah, only on, and he just took a wild shot looking at it, comparing it to something close that he might have raced on before. But he's raced on a bunch of different tracks, and that's where I talk about, people that, they'll say, well, how can he run so good? He don't really. It doesn't really matter. These guys that race a lot, people just don't understand. They've got a plethora of information. They've got a big notebook full of stuff. And then a lot of times it just comes down to the guy holding the steering wheel and sitting in the seat. He can, you know, a lot of people talk about like Davenport right now. Yeah, they got a good car, but I will say this right now, Davenport's probably one of the best drivers in the country right now. I mean, he's just, you know, when you own your game, you own your game. And, you know, my hat's off to Kyle. You know, he come in and at one point there, it caught Ben. And I was like, wow, you know, if he gets around Ben, this is going to,
Yeah.
but, you know, Ben could just get that little bit of pull away from him over the longer run.
Yeah.
And all, but shout out to them. Shout out Pearson Lee. Pearson Lee kind of was bogged down a little bit back there. I think he passed probably 3 or 4 different cars, you know, got some on the restart. I think Kyle did too. And, but it was a good race. Track was in pretty good shape.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, another thing, while we were on that, Ben Sumner and the folks with the Southern Thunder late model, and I believe I'm accurate on this. When I was doing the driver interviews, Ben came up and I believe I'm correct. Out of 22 total Southern Thunder late model races, Ben Faircloth was the 20th winner out of 22 races. That's incredible. And like always, they had 20 plus cars there. I think it seems like there was 23. If I'm wrong,
it was full field. Yep.
Yeah. And they've drawn as many as 28, usually guaranteed the mid-20s. And once again, another successful race. And so hats off to Ben and all the folks with the Southern Thunder Late Model Series. If you guys ever get a chance to see that series race, I promise you, they put on a good show. They really do. And the drivers believe in it, and the drivers are going to show up. So, but anyway, Brian, we really do appreciate you taking time to join us, man. And
oh man, I'm glad to anytime. Like I say, I miss y'all tonight. When I finally looked at my clock, I was like, oh man, there's no way I can make it tonight and everything. So, you know, just one of them deals.
We understand, man, and we hope that you have a safe day making your trips with your truck, and hopefully everything will work out so that you can head on over there and see some good dirt track racing, man. And I know that next week is going to be a big show. There's going to be a lot of stuff to report. It always is.
Oh, yeah.
So hopefully now we can get this weather to just allow us a little bit of, you know, clear days and nights where we can get this thing done. And Dale was saying that the forecast, not so good tonight, but it looks like that things are improving as we get into the weekend. It's going to be a good time. And there will be no shortage of fun and fellowship over there, I guarantee you.
Oh yeah, it's always interesting to get back and, you know, see a lot of people that you don't see all year long. I mean, you know, like us, we see the folks that we normally see, but I've got friends in all kind of different places, and that's kind of the reason why I like to get over there. I've already, you know, had 2 or 3 ask me, "Are you coming?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." And they've already told me where to park and come see them. So that's something to look forward to, for sure.
Always. All right, Brian. Well, you have a good one, man. And Lord willing, if we don't see you before, we'll be checking in with you next week, man.
Okay. Thank y'all. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, thanks. You too. That's Brian Hester, our co-host. And I tell you, man, old Brian, he does a great job for this show. I don't think I know of anybody that is more knowledgeable and up to speed, especially on current events. And it's not just our stuff. It's out and about everywhere. Yeah.
I forgot to ask you about that picture.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Maybe, Brian, you can send Dale a text. Dale was telling me tonight when we were eating supper, he said that, you know, that he saw you with a trophy that you had won a race at the okay. Well, if he's watching, Brian, if you are watching, Dale said he saw that you had a trophy and that you had won an event over there at East Alabama along the way. And I don't remember us talking about that, but if you did, man, we definitely want to know about that. And Dale reminded me, I forgot to ask you. But anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Deep Dixie Racing Report. Of course, we are experiencing a little bit of weather in our area, and I'm guessing that wherever you're at, if you don't have it, you probably have had it or you soon will. Thank you for joining us. We really do appreciate y'all supporting this little racing show. We don't realize how many people are tuned in until we missed one week, and then everybody let us know, but we do appreciate it. Right now, we're going to see if we can get a hold of Carolyn Johnson. Carolyn, along with her husband Leo, they are the promoters of the All-Star Stock Car Series, and the announcement was made just really not long ago, just a few weeks back, that they will have a part in the Alabama State race. Like I said, a belly full of racing over there from start to finish. Pretty much every division that you want to see, you can see it over there. A lot of people trying to fill up just a very few starting spots. And then they add the All-Star Stock Car Series race. And again, these folks have been very successful with this tour, often drawing the high 40s, even over 50 cars on some of their races. And hopefully Carolyn will be able to join us, and we'll get some information from her about how that developed. I know that it was big news here a few weeks ago, and I know they're very excited. Again, thanks to our sponsors, Mike Hurd and our friends at 5 Star Hyundai, and the entire 5 Star family of dealers, Warner Robins, Bill Cheek, Heartland EMS, and Carol's Sausage and General Store. We sure appreciate everything that they do for us, and we couldn't do it without them. Carolyn, are you there?
I'm here.
Hey, Carolyn. We're joined right now on the line by Carolyn Johnson, her and her husband, Leo Johnson. They are the promoters of the All-Star Stock Car Series. They've had great success with that series, and I know it's only going to get bigger and better. Also, Carolyn and Leo, very, very much a part of the Deep Dixie Racing family. And Carolyn, we're glad to talk to you tonight, sis. I want to jump right in here. Tell us how everything came about that the All-Star Stock Car Series was going to be a part of the Alabama State race.
Well, we got a phone call from William Thomas one day out of the blue, and he called and said he had been thinking about it for a while. He wanted our series out there at the track for a while now, and he had the state race coming up, and he just figured it would be a great fit. And so we kind of talked about, you know, our series and our rules, and figured out a payout and everything else like that. And we just kind of went with it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Carolyn, there had been some questions, and Brian is much better suited to answer this than me, but I want to ask you so that we can clear up any kind of question. This particular event, the All-Star Stock Car Series, is going to be an event unto itself, and there's also going to be the standard hobby and pure stock race. Is that correct?
Well, what our cars, our All-Star cars would be like hobby or pure stock, they call a bomber at East Alabama. And they will have their own race. Their rules are a little bit different than ours. And their bomber cars will be running in their race. We do have our All-Star race, which is its own race in itself, just like the Southern All-Stars are.
Okay, cool. Got it. So, again, that is an added bonus to an already full slate of racing at Phoenix City, Alabama. Now, Carolyn, I know that you guys have had a great year, and this state race thing kind of came up, but y'all are going to kind of close the year out with some huge paydays. This race over in Alabama, and then if I'm not mistaken, you guys are going to be going down to Golden Isles in just a few weeks, and that's going to be a 10,000 to win race. Is that right?
That's correct. October the 16th and 17th, we'll have our $10,000 showdown on the coast at Golden Isles Speedway. And we had it last year, had a huge turnout. We had stands packed, the parking lot was packed. We had so many cars, and it was just a fabulous time. And Bradley Frakes is our defending winner, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to keep his title this year, and he's going to have some tough competition, but it's a huge race.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, getting back to East Alabama, when will the feature for the All-Star Stock Car Series, for those that are specifically, have some type of an interest in that, a friend or a family member driving, kind of give us the breakdown. Now, obviously, Carolyn, by now, there's weather over there. Things may be, crunched and adjusted a little bit, but if you could kind of give us an idea of how the heat race is qualifying, or however you're going to do it, as well as the feature. Let the fans know exactly how that's all going to shake out, when it'll happen.
Well, as far as the rain goes, I've been keeping track of it myself. They are expecting some rain today, which I think there is some over there right now, but it's supposed to clear out. It might be a little drizzle in the morning, but from what my weather says, it's going to actually clear up from 12 o'clock noon, and there's only a 20% chance of rain. 20% chance of rain Saturday and Sunday. So it looks like, or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it looks like we'll be all right.
Okay.
Tomorrow, we'll be doing our registration at our tent, and then we'll have our heats and qualifying, and then Saturday we'll turn around. They're going to open up at about 10 o'clock in the morning, I think, or something like that. It's real early. And we're going to have our consolation race, and then we'll have the actual feature. I can't remember what time.
Okay.
My brain's been all over the place for the past week or so. But I did, if anybody has, if you're part of the Deep Dixie racing group, I posted all the times on there from their website, so you can go on there and check.
Carolyn, any idea of what kind of a car count you guys may be expecting for this race?
I'm not exactly sure. I mean, I've talked with so many people that I'm expecting a really big turnout. We haven't had less than, I think the least amount we've had is 47 cars or something like that this year. I mean, it's been really, really good, and I expect for the state race it's probably going to be, at least that, if not better. Yeah,
Dale's saying that he's guessing it's going to be 50 plus, but Carolyn, I know that you and Leo, when y'all started this series, and we've had an opportunity to talk with several of the drivers. We've had several of them live here with us at the restaurant, and we've talked to numerous drivers on the phone and interviewed them. You guys kind of stepped out not really knowing how this was going to go. It was a risk. It's turned out to be a great move, and the response has been wonderful. Can you give us any kind of an idea of what 2016 looks like, or anything that's going to be coming up that may be some type of a change in the way y'all do things, in addition of sponsors or anything like that?
We're still working on everything for 2016. Our first race is going to be for our point season of 2016. It's going to be at Cochran, and it's going to be Thanksgiving weekend, 5,000 to win, I believe. And we're still scheduling all our races for next year, doing our sponsorship thing, that kind of stuff. So we're getting it all coming together and everything. It'll be a really good year coming up.
Yeah, I can't wait. And just so everybody will know, and I know Carolyn and Leo's talked about this before, the actual 2016 point season will begin at Cochran Motor Speedway. That's going to be during our annual Gobbler 100. And so those of you that are looking ahead to 2016, the first points race in the All-Star Stock Car Series will be actually in November of 2015. And so make plans to join us. There's still a lot of action to go before we get down to Thanksgiving, and a lot of money on the line. So, Carolyn, we always appreciate talking to you, and, give our best to Leo. And I know that you guys are going to have a great, great time over there at East Alabama. We're all going to be tuning in, and our best to you and everybody that goes over there. Stay dry and be safe.
All right, and we hope to see everybody out there, and we'll be doing the All-Star thing Friday and Saturday, and hopefully, we'll be doing deep stuff the whole time too, and Dale will be there, and we'll have everything going for everybody to check out.
Got it. All right, Carolyn, well, you have a good one. Tell Leo we said hello.
I will do it.
All right, good night. That's Carolyn Johnson. She and her husband, Leo, they are the promoters of the All-Star Stock Car Series. And you know what, Dale? That is a lot of money on the line, man. I mean, you're talking about a $10,000 race. I remember in not so, distant history that something like that would have been unheard of. I mean, you would hear of a $10,000 late model race, but a $10,000 pure stock or hobby race, that was something that's so far off, man. And those guys have really brought that thing a long way.
That was the first time I'd ever heard of it.
Yeah, that's incredible. And and then you throw in, and I'm trying to do the dates in my head. If you're talking about East Alabama this weekend, big payday over there. Then you go to Golden Isle, a 10,000 to win. Then you go right back to Cochran, Thanksgiving weekend. That'll be the kickoff of the 2016 season. Another $5,000 to win. You're talking about a lot of money, man. And so our congratulations to them. I always love to see somebody do well when they branch out. It's very, very easy for people to say, this or that, and you coulda, woulda, shoulda. But, when you do anything like that, you're taking a gamble. Now, it's proved to be the right thing to do. But if you go out there and you stumble and you fall on your face, then, of course, it's easy to say, you never, ever should have done that. But Carolyn and Leo have done a great job with that. And I know because I have watched several of their races. And I can tell you that it is everything that we portray it to be. Incredible competition. Most of these guys are blue-collar racers. In fact, I dare say every one of them, they have full-time jobs. They work on a very tight budget, but yet they put on a great show and race with some of the most respect of any class I've ever seen. And we're very blessed around our neck of the woods. Some of the guys that are some of the top guns, I know Michael Davis has been one of them. He's been one of the guys that's done really well this year from right down there around Cochran. So if you get a chance to see that All-Star Stock Car Series, go do it. Dale, are we going to see if we can get a hold of Joe?
Yeah, he's been calling us the whole time.
Okay, Joe Lewandoski.
He was calling about 7:40.
Okay, got you. All right, let's ring him up.
Joe Lewandoski.
Joe, Pastor Todd Sharon, Dixie Racing Report. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. And for the folks that are watching right now, guys, you came, you tuned in on a good night. This is something that, in my mind, and I know that everybody that loves the sport of dirt track racing, you always are excited when you hear that there are new ideas. There are new goals, there are new plans, and we're being joined on the line right now by Mr. Joe Lewandoski. And Joe is with the Southern Dirt Racing Association. And Joe, what I would like to do, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the SDRA, or maybe you. And I'd like for you to just kind of give us a snapshot about that particular series and some of the things that you guys have done and some of the things that that y'all plan to do in trying to bring a new form of racing that's going to be affordable into our area.
Well, the biggest thing, Reverend Sharon, is that I want to thank two people before I get started. And I want to talk about Southern hospitality. My car broke down Monday in Perry, Georgia, at the Discovery Perry in Perry Chamber of Commerce building. Ronnie Ricks, Tim Robertson went and picked up my car, fixed it, and got me going. So I want to say to those guys, thank you for some awesome Southern hospitality.
Man, that is so cool.
It was unbelievable. I mean, they made me feel like I was one of the boys. Here I am. I basically have a telephone relationship with these guys, talk to them, and they go out of their way and help me out. And it was really fantastic. And like I told Ronnie and I told Tim, I said, my eventual goal is to be able to hopefully move up that way. And the most important thing what I'm trying to work on right now is to get the show off, show on the road.
Mm-hmm.
The Southern Dirt Racing Association Racer Fans Expo and Auction, which is going to be January 16th and 17th at the Georgia National Fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia. That's going to be, it's going to be my way of saying, number one, helping the tracks, helping competitors. Hopefully the fans get excited about coming, get some autographs. It's going to be really neat. And the way I set the show up is I'm inviting all the racetracks. They get a free 10 by 20 booth in the show. And very fortunately, last week, I had an opportunity through Daryl Corson at Golden Isle Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
He had a very informal track operators meeting. And at that meeting, I think there was like 8 racetracks there. And right now, Swainsboro Raceway is committed to coming to the show. Golden Isles is committed to coming to the show. Albany Motor Speedway, Needmore Speedway, and Oglethorpe Speedway Park. And then also, last Saturday, had a great opportunity to meet with Billy Thomas at East Alabama Motor Speedway.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy's definitely going to do the show. And Billy said to me, he says, Joe, how about if I do some promoter seminars? I said, fantastic. So Billy's also going to do a promoter seminar on Saturday and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, then I got another, I'd say by Monday or Tuesday next week, there's going to be at least another 20 information packets being sent out to tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So my goal is to get at least 20 tracks that participate in the expo.
Yeah, that sounds good. And I can, first of all, let me back up a little bit. I know Tim Robertson. He's a personal friend of mine. I've known him for years, and a super guy, really. And Perry, Joe, I actually live about 15 minutes from the Perry Fairgrounds and know a lot of people up there. And I can tell you that everybody that you just mentioned here at the Deep Dixie Racing Report, we pretty much know those guys. We've been around them for years, and I can tell you that week, that's actually the track that I work at as the announcer. We were having a big 2-day show, and I'm guessing that our track owner, Chris Martin, would have been a part of that track owner forum, and I can almost guarantee you that he will be on board with this. So I'm definitely going to forward your name and stuff to him. And again, just so I'll make sure the dates that you're going to have, the Racing Expo is going to be January 17th and 18th. Is that correct?
No, January 16th and 17th, Saturday
16th,
and Sunday.
Okay, 16th and 17th. And folks, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Mr. Joe Lewandoski, and Joe has a great idea about trying to promote racing. He's been around it, and he's telling us that here in Middle Georgia, and when we say Middle Georgia, I don't think Perry, I don't think you can get any more in the middle of the state than Perry. And we've got people that are going to be participating in this expo. All of the track owners and promoters that would like to come, you're going to get a free booth to be able to set things up in. And Joe, Dale Hall, the producer of this show, he and I were talking before we came on the air tonight, and you have a pretty rich history in racing. And if you could give us a little bit of your background, and I believe at one point, if I'm understanding correctly, that you may have had some interactions with Brian France and some racetracks out west. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. There's an old saying in life. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it was back in 1988. I was working out at a health club in Daytona Beach. At the time, I started at probably one of the coolest jobs I ever had in my life. I started at an athletic foundation at Bethune-Cookman University, the Wildcat Foundation. So I happened to be working out at this health club, met Brian. Brian is a avid basketball fan. How I started my career is I was a college basketball coach at Hester University in DeLand, Florida. So Brian loved basketball. I loved auto racing. So we got to be a great friendship. And I always loved short track racing. So I said to him, hey, man, give me a shot at running at Tucson Raceway Park. I never ran a track before. He put me out there. Of course, hey, I had good days and I had bad days, but I learned how to operate a track. And one of the main thing that Brian France taught me about short track racing, he would call me every Sunday morning, Joe, the first thing he would say to me, what time did you start and what time did you end? Because our scheduled start time was 7:30. he wanted me started at 7:30. He wanted me done at 10:30. And we had some challenging, times in Tucson, Arizona, especially in the summertime when you're trying to prepare a dirt track with 7% humidity, 95-degree to 100-degree temperature, and 25-mile-an-hour winds. Guess what? We would put about 100,000 gallons of water into that clay every week to get it to run.
We know that all too well, Joe. We fight that every single week here in Middle Georgia.
I respect any dirt track operator because I've also operated asphalt tracks. And let me tell you what, you don't have to worry about asphalt. All you do is sweep it and you go. Dirt track, it's a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, folks, we're being joined right now by Mr. Joe Lewandoski, and Joe is going to be hosting a racing expo at the fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia. For those of you that are tuning in, most of you know Interstate 75. If you're in Florida, you're in South Georgia, then obviously you're going to go north. It's right off of the interstate. You'll see it. It's where the Georgia National Fair is held each and every year. Very, very easy to spot right from the interstate. And the dates that this is going to be held is January 16th and 17th. And guys, down here in the South, we love racing. And Joe, you said it right. If you're a member of the racing family, it's like being a member of the fishing family or the hunting family. You can be a perfect stranger, but if you share that common interest, then you're immediately a part of the group. So guys, let's do our part and help Joe to be successful at what he's trying to do. And Joe, that leads me to the next question. Now, we have been talking over the past few weeks here on our show. There is no shortage of late model series. I mean, touring series. We recently developed what we call the Super Street at our particular track, and it's the Southern Outlaws, and it has done well. And then we just got off the phone with Carolyn Johnson, who, along with her husband, they promote a pure stock or a hobby stock series. And what I want you to do is I want you to explain to us in detail, because around here, the same car at one track is not necessarily known as the same car. For instance, you may have a limited division at East Alabama. At our place, we call it Sportsman. What is the exact series that you are focusing on with the SDRA?
Well, first of all, what I'm trying to do is I'm not going to create a series. I want to basically sanction weekly racing. My challenge is I want to get to track operators and say, Mr. Track Operator, here's what I want to do for you. First of all, I want to put together a very tight spec rule book, and I call it durable, affordable, technical parts. I basically spent the last 3 months studying cars, and what I've come to find out that if you go on racingjunk.com, you could buy a used late model anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000. I mean, a roller, no motor, no transmission. Sometimes you get shocks. So there's a ton of these late model cars out there. I'm a big believer of crate motors, and the reason I say that, Todd, is that I ran Lake Erie Speedway for 3 years back in from 2005 to 2007. 3 years I spent out here. I inherited a track with roughly about 8 asphalt late model cars. We went to the 604 crate motor, and our car count went from 8 to 25. Mm-hmm. Well, we put a lot of, and the reason we did that, we had engine, you had to register your motor, we had certified engine builders, the whole 9 yards. But at the end of the day, this 602 crate motor that I'm working on right now, and I'm working with Richard Whitworth at GRW Engine.
Yes, we know him.
The motor that I'm looking at right now, Todd, basically, I'm talking complete, $6,200. That means that's the engine, that's the carburetor, that's the air cleaner, that's the headers, that's the rev limiter. I'm talking, you basically pick this motor up and put it in your car. Now, this motor also will be dynoed, it will be sealed, it will be assembled and registered by Richard. We're talking $6,200.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I'm also working very, very fortunately, we have one of the best shot people in the United States of America for short track racing, living right in your guys' backyard. Jim Highland with Bilstein Shocks.
Mm-hmm.
In Unadilla, looking at a steel sealed shock for the car. But also, I'm also smart enough to know that, guess what? You can't put the rest of the cars out of business. So basically what I would do is I'd have this spec car that would probably weigh 2,300 pounds. The rest of the 602 cars, because I don't know their motors, you know, they got all kind of different transmissions and lightweight parts, probably put those cars at 2,400 pounds. And then also, we have an abundance of built motors with a stock front clip. So we'll probably put those cars at, I don't know, maybe 2,550. So in other words, three different types of cars can race. But more importantly, we're trying to get it down the road where it's a pure 602 class. That's, like I said, it's affordable, impeccable, durable parts.
Mm-hmm.
But also, and you probably know a lot of guys, their cars are sitting in their garages gathering dust because they've been outmotored, they've been outshot, they've been outdollared. A lot of reasons. Another important thing about my program, Todd, is that if, let's just say, such and such track sanctions with the Southern Dirt Racing Association weekly racing program, the tech man is going to be hired by the Southern Dirt Racing Association. He will be an employee of Southern Dirt Racing Association, just like the National Legends program. That way, we take out a lot of, you know, favoritism or
right.
So-called favoritism. And you know, Facebook is great for racing, and it's also bad for racing.
Right.
So, you know, I learned that from the National Legends program. Have a tech guy that, guess what? He doesn't care who wins. He's hired by my organization to tech the cars.
Right.
So, you know, we're trying to put this together, and I know, and I'm smart enough to understand and know that this isn't going to happen overnight. And that's why, you know, I got a I don't know if you had a chance to look at my 5-year plan, but my first year, number one thing is this expo auction where I get to meet everybody. I want everybody to say, you know what, this Joe Lewandoski guy's sincere. He really wants to help racing. And my situation, my life right now, I'm 60 years old. I'm getting ready to retire. I basically, the last 5 years, I've been out of racing. I got a boy that's a junior in high school down at Spruce Creek High School down in Port Orange, Florida. He's a very good baseball player. He committed to Kent State University in Kent, Ohio. Well, June 1st of 2017, he'll be graduating and going, because he's going up to Ohio to go to school. So I'm saying to myself, guess what? I got to find something to do. Well, guess what? I'm just going to pack all my stuff up and move up to Georgia and work on my project. Mm-hmm. But the most important thing is I have to gain the trust of the track operators, the competitors, and also I got to get sponsorship. So I got a lot of work to do, but the show is the main thing. And like I say, the auction part, I'm negotiating right now with MCS Auctions. The lady's name is Maria. She owns the company. I don't know, for a lot of people out there that have been to the old days, Charlie Setman used to do these auctions all through the South. Well, she worked with Charlie, so she's going to do the auction. So, you know, guys who have all those parts in their garage, you know, you go buy a lot, you know, put your parts on the pallet, we'll run it through, we'll sell your stuff on a consignment basis. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's a super challenge, but more importantly, people have to believe that I'm sincerely wanting to help short track racing. And hey, I love short track racing. I've been following the sport since I've been 10 years old.
Right. And I can tell you, Joe, I'm listening very carefully to what you're saying. I know that Dale is. And more importantly, we've got a pretty good sized audience, and to God be the glory for that. You could not pick a better place to try to start a fledgling business or anything to do with racing. I can tell you that the racing community here is a very committed group of people. And on that note, one of the things that I want to add to it, we have seen when you talk about crate motors, it used to be that, well, if you're in a crate and somebody else is in a built motor, then you might as well go ahead and figure, you're running for third, fourth, or whatever. On a good night, you may get a second or a third. But Joe, I have seen, I won't say many, I don't want to embellish it, but I have seen several times that we have had like model series is one on weekly shows. We would start 18, sometimes 20 cars, and that's just on a regular Saturday night. I can't tell you how many times that a crate motor has outrun those built motors. It doesn't happen every week, but we hosted the Neesmith Racing Series, and that was some of the most competitive racing that I have ever seen. And I'm going to tell you something, every single one of those guys was in a crate motor. So people are beginning to buy into it. In the beginning, of course, change is a little slow, getting traction. But I can tell you now that with a little bit of time to prepare, and right now I'm guessing we've got about 90 days, give or take, that we can help highlight this. And in January, not a whole lot going on racing-wise. The Super Bowl down at Brunswick, down at Daryl's place at Golden Isle. So I'm guessing that you're going to have an incredible turnout, Joe. And man, we're glad to have you. We're excited, and if you'll stay in touch with us here on the Dixie Racing Report, man, we would love to get you up here live. And I'll
definitely do that.
Yeah.
Hey, Todd, I want to say one thing too. What you do, when I say you, I should say Dale and the whole crew at the Deep Dixie Racing Report. And is it Brian Hester, the guy that does all the filming?
Yeah.
And that guy does a fantastic job. What you guys do for short track racing is unbelievable, because I'm going to tell you right now, I got my inspiration from your guys' website because I didn't know anything about dirt racing in the Georgia area. I got on there and watched videos. I got to go to different websites from that site. The short track operators ought to say thank you to you guys every day, because what you do for short track, dirt track racing in Georgia is unbelievable.
We sure appreciate that. And I can tell you, Dale and Carolyn Leo Johnson, they are the ones that's pretty much behind the scenes doing the heavy lifting. And Dale Hall and I have been friends for a long time, and Dale has always been a sports fan. And Dale actually got out in front of this internet thing really before most people did. And he had an idea that he wanted to do a little more with racing, and he jumped out there, man, and it turned out to be the right move. And so, Joe, we sure appreciate that. And I know that Carolyn, Leo, and Dale, Brian, and everybody else that worked with us, that's very kind. And we do love what we do. I've got I'm a pastor. I'm a hospice chaplain. Dale recently retired after being a school teacher for his career, and we all do what we do, but this show is something that I really do love. And man, I'm telling you, your best days in racing are ahead of you, Joe, and that's not to take away anything you've done, but when you get up here with this group of people, they're going to embrace you. You're going to love them, and you're going to find your niche here. I guarantee you, buddy.
Well, like I said, I'm really excited about the future, and I just want to close with one thing, that the 602 crate program is not out there to replace late models, super late models, or 604s. I look at the 602 program like minor league baseball. You got Major League Baseball, which is super late models. You got AAA, which is late models. You got AA, which is 604 crates. I'm single A. I'm where you get your start, or guys that want to basically retire and have some fun. This is basic entry level dirt late model racing using a very affordable, dependable 602 motor.
Yeah. And you're not going to break the bank. I'm guessing that is going to be the real game changer. But, Joe, we really do appreciate you taking time, man. I can hear the passion and the excitement in your voice. And, folks, Mr. Joe Lewandoski, he is going to be putting on a racing expo at the Perry Fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia. Very, very easy to find. If you can get on Interstate 75, connect on to Interstate 75, wherever you're at. you will eventually end up in Perry, and there's not a lot of twists and turns. There's great hotel accommodations in that little town, plenty of good restaurants, easy access to the highway no matter where you're traveling from, very easy to get to. And we hope that you can come out and be a part of it. And Joe, before I let you get out of here, is there a website or a Facebook page or something that you have?
I have my website is sdraweekly.com. So, and that'll tell you everything about the organization, the expo and auction, my 5-year plan, the whole 9 yards. So that's sdraweekly.com. So go on that website, check it out. And hey, next time I come up, I want to eat some barbecue with you guys.
Yeah, man, we'd love to have you. You would love it here. And I don't know where you live now, Joe, but we're right now, I'm guessing that we are about 50 miles from Perry. It's very easy, right straight up the road. So maybe you can come up and maybe take in a race or two here in Middle Georgia. The season's pretty much over, but we do have a couple of big races that are coming up. I know at our place in October, there's a big race. Daryl Corson's got one in October. We have the annual Thanksgiving race. There's going to be a lot going on in Middle Georgia. We would love to have you anytime, and anything that we can do for you here at the Deep Dixie Racing Report, we'll be glad to do it. And folks, that's going to be a good thing to go check out, especially for y'all that have parts around. Maybe you lost interest, maybe you couldn't afford it, you had sickness or something. It'll be a good way to turn that into some dollars. And yes, Dale.
He mentioned drivers going to be there for autographs. Does he have any names yet?
Yes, Joe, Dale Hall brought up a good point. You had mentioned that there will be some drivers there offering autographs. Do you have any idea who they may be?
I'll tell you what I'm working on right now. I'm working on Scott Bloomquist right now to basically come in and do a seminar, autograph session, and do basically a fan pack giveaway. I'm working on Shane Clanton. Shane Clanton's car owner is a guy named Ron Davies from Warren, PA. When I was working at Lake Erie Speedway, I was recruiting Ron to run asphalt. As a matter of fact, I was on the phone with him a couple days ago, and I said, Ron, I need Shane at the auction and expo. And, you know, because of my contacts, very fortunately, I got to work with probably one of the nicest, greatest guys in short track racing, Tom Deary, who is Chief Operating Officer of World Racing Group, DIRT. So I'll be calling my good buddy Tom Deary to say, Tom, I need Shane at the show.
Yeah, we know Shane well here, Joe. Shane won a big race at Cochran last Thanksgiving, I believe it was. If it wasn't Thanksgiving, it was close. And I had an opportunity to interview him. And Shane and his family, they are legendary racers here in Georgia, just right up the road, a little piece outside of Atlanta. And Shane's a great guy. We've interviewed him on the show, and I know that would be a really good person to get. And I know that no matter who you get, it's going to be a good time. And folks, once again, the dates are going to be January 16th, 17th at the Perry National Fairgrounds. This is the Racing Expo that is going to be put on by Mr. Joe Lewandoski of the Southern Dirt Racing Association. Let me give you this website one more time, sdraweekly.com. And then once you get there, you're going to be able to find out about Joe's 5-year plan. You're going to be able to find out more about the 602 motors, about how that you can come to this expo, offering you a chance to auction off some parts, that sort of thing. And Joe, tell us once again, the racing promoters and track owners, those that will come, 10 by 10 booth space. Is that right?
10 by 20.
10 by 20.
The reason I went with 20, Todd, is I want them to be able to bring a car. You know, I'm hoping that, like I was talking to, Tim's brother won the late model championship at Cochran.
Wesley.
So I told Tim, I said, Tim, one way or another, your brother's car will be in that show because you helped me out. But I'm hoping that, the tracks will say, hey, bring my championship car down. And I told him too, show movies, sell tickets, sell merchandise. I want you to be able to promote your track to these fans.
Absolutely, man. And like I said, we have a hunting show, a hunting expo, and things like that. People really respond well to that sort of thing. And then plus the time of the year, you're not going to be competing with a whole lot. And I'm guessing at, mid-January, people are going to have cabin fever, and they're going to love to come out and be a part of that. Joe, you've done a great job, man. I really appreciate you coming on. You're well-spoken. You explain your plan and your goal really, really well. And folks, that's Mr. Joe Lewandoski. He's got a lot of experience in the business and going to try to get something started here in Middle Georgia. Joe, again, thanks for giving us some of your time, buddy. Stay in touch with us, and good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. God bless you. That's Mr. Joe Lewandoski. Man, that guy, I really think he's on to something there, Dale. Everything has changed. The economy has changed. A lot of people are out of work. There's things in life that happen. I mean, like he said, he's got a son that's going to be graduating soon. I've got a son that's a senior this year, and I know I've got some expense coming up, and you have to really, really watch that. So it's not always about, you lose the desire, you get hurt, you get sick. A lot of times it's just the priorities kind of dictate what you're going to do. So, guys, look, for those of you that have been thinking that you'd like to get back in the game and you don't want to break the bank doing it, what Joe is offering here is a super deal. It really is. Many of you already have a rolling chassis, and a lot of you probably have other parts, shock springs and things like that. And I like the fact that Joe comes into this thing with a plan, and you're going to actually be able to get involved with a good series that's affordable and, have some fun doing it. So, well, Dale, right now, it's 8:17. Wow, that went by fast. Let's do this. Let's take about a 5-minute break. And, guys, when we come back, I'll tell you exactly what our plan is. We're going to see if we can track down Chris Madden. That's who we're trying to get. Now, I'm sure Chris, if he's not already at East Alabama, they're probably heading that way. We understand he's busy, and that would be a great get on a night like tonight leading up to the state race over there. We're not sure we're going to be able to get him, but we're trying, and we're not going to quit trying. So we're going to take a break right now. And, again, thanks to our sponsors, Mike Hurd, 5-Star Hyundai, and the entire 5-Star family of dealerships in Warner Robins. Mike, of course, the service manager, 5-Star Hyundai, that's 650 Russell Parkway in Warner Robins, award-winning service before, during, and after the sale. Mike is a great guy. He's a great friend of mine. And Mike was the first sponsor we had on this show. Mike, we appreciate you. Mr. Bill Cheek. And I can tell you that Bill Cheek, one of the most well-respected men in Middle Georgia, he has led Heartland EMS into a successful business, and they're 20 years going now. Excellent service. They're our first responders at the racetrack, and they have actually got a workout this year. They've had several times that they've come and they've did their job well, and so we appreciate him. And Bill is really doing that as a labor of love. And it was kind of funny, when you think about a first responder, you don't really need to advertise. If something goes wrong in the business that Bill is in, everybody knows you dial 911. But because Bill is a race fan and he believes in what we're doing, Bill has helped us out. We appreciate it, Bill, and all of you at Heartland. And then our friends down the road here, actually up the road, north of here, Carroll Sausage and General Store, some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. They're open 7 to 7 Monday through Saturday. They're closed on Sunday, so folks can go to church if they choose to. They've got an RV park up there right off of the interstate. You can pretty much go in there and stock up. It's really just like a grocery store, except much cooler. It's got unique stuff. It's like taking a trip back in time. They have very, very unique items and gifts. A full-fledged meat here. They've got a restaurant in there for hot food. If you want to buy something and put it on ice and carry it with you, they can help you do all of that. That's Carroll's Sausage and General Store, exit 82, right off of Interstate 75. Very, very easy to see from the interstate. Go check them out. Again, our thanks to Hugh Hardy, Mr. Johnny Walker, and Jason Black, and everybody that's helped us out. All right, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a very short time out. We're going to come back and see if we can track down Mr. Chris Madden If not, we'll figure out a plan from there. We may get out of here a little bit earlier, but our intention is to try to get a hold of Chris and get his thoughts on the upcoming state race. We'll be back with much, much more in just a moment from the Deep Dixie Racing Report. All right, folks, welcome back to the Deep Dixie Racing Report. Our thanks again to Carolyn Johnson. Also want to say thank you to Mr. Joe Lewandoski. What a great interview that we had with him. Got a lot of exciting things coming up in the near future. Go visit sdraweekly.com to find out more about the 602 Motors, a big expo that's coming up at the fairgrounds in Perry, Georgia, January the 16th and 17th. And also, again, thank you to my co-host, Brian Hester, unable to make it here live tonight, but he did fill us in on our recap of last week's action and the upcoming events, which right now pretty much all eyes are on East Alabama Motor Speedway over in Phoenix City, Alabama. I think now probably the big story is the weather, and a lot of people have already made it over there to the property. And the weather forecast not so good for tonight, but it appears that everything is going to be clearing up and moving out. At least that's what the forecast is showing right now. We had hoped, and Dale, I guess we can try one more time, see if we can get a hold of Chris Madden. Chris Madden has had some great success over there at East Alabama over the years, driver of the 44 car. And Brian was telling us earlier that Chris has recently changed over to a Longhorn chassis. And we were hoping we'd get a word with him. And guys, we will tell you, we have had a little bit of technical stuff going on tonight. We had extreme rain just up the road from the restaurant here. And I don't know if that has anything to do with it or not, but sometimes we cannot always make good connections. And it's oftentimes not the fault of a guest or something. It's just that we cannot make contact. And we're thinking that may be one of the things that's happened tonight. We actually lost the feed in hour number one, and we appreciate y'all hanging in there with us. So, Dale, let's see if we can get a hold of Chris Madden once again. And, guys, while Dale's trying to get a hold of Chris, keep an eye on our show over the next few weeks. Dale is looking into what is called Periscope. I know that you technical folks out there, you know what that is, and it's going to give us the ability to do some live shots. I'll put it like that. Our hope is on a night like tonight, say, maybe we could actually bring you some live reports from East Alabama Motor Speedway. And as we figure out more about it and we get more dialed in to how we need to set it up, we hope to be able to do that. Here at the Deep Dixie Racing Report, we want to keep it fresh. We want to keep it interesting. We want to keep it fun. We want you guys to enjoy watching on Thursday night. Can't watch it on Thursday, you can go back and look at the archive. Dale does a great job. He's got every show that we've done. It's archived, and you can find all of that on deepdixieracing.com or on the Facebook page. And I don't think that we're going to...
got a news page for the show itself, too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Deep Dixie Racing Report.blogspot.com.
Okay, guys, Deep Dixie Racing Report.blogspot.com. And that's only been, what, in the last 2 weeks, Dale? 3 weeks, something like that? Okay. And again, trying to figure out how we can better serve you. And it's one thing to be able to get a phone interview. We appreciate that, man. What a blessing that is. And we have been able to talk to some really cool guests via the telephone. Our hopes and our intentions are to be able to kind of gradually move in that we can get as much video as is possible. And the technology's out there. It's just a matter of getting it compatible with what we've got. And our show now is, I guess, maybe 5-6 months old, something like that. And we've loved every minute of it. And we do want to continue to keep getting better, to keep it interesting, to keep it fresh. And so that is something that we wanted to tell you about. By the way, while we're on that note, I know that racing never, ever really shuts down. Our regular seasons have pretty much wrapped up all the points races at the local tracks. And then there's the annual events normally that happen for us in October, the Georgia State Championship. And then we take a few weeks off. We come right back. We've got an annual Thanksgiving race. I know many tracks have that annual Thanksgiving race, but we plan to keep the Deep Dixie Racing Report going strong throughout the off season, if you want to call it that. There's really not a whole lot of off season anymore. And as we talked earlier with Joe Lewandoski, he's going to be having a racing expo in Perry. That's going to be January 16th, 17th. And then right behind that, that is when the Super Bowl racing kicks off down at Golden Isle Speedway in Brunswick, Georgia. But all throughout the off season, we plan on keeping the Deep Dixie Racing Report coming to you. And our plan and our hope is to be able to get some of the drivers, some of the track promoters, everybody that may be connected with racing, to get them in here live at the restaurant. A lot of these guys are just too busy. I mean, literally, they're on the road. We catch them. We talked to Jimmy Sharp Jr. the other night. He was up at Eldora. Many of these guys will phone us from a rig traveling down the highway, and we want to keep the show going during the off season, and we hope to be able to bring you more live guests. Well, Dale, I tell you what, man, it's a bummer that we cannot get a hold of Chris Madden. And Chris, if you happen to be tuning in or you see a replay of this, we appreciate your effort. If you were unable to get through, man, we hate that. But guys, we're probably going to end up shutting this thing down a little bit early tonight. Actually, it's about 20 minutes till 9, so it's not that much earlier than normal. But for everybody that is going out to the races this weekend, I know Brian mentioned about the new racetrack down, I think it's Alltech down in Florida. They're going to be hosting the National Late Model Series down there. And outside of some big touring events across the country, all eyes are going to be on East Alabama Motor Speedway. Again, I have had the opportunity to go over there many times. I have been there many times. I've been as a spectator. Beverly and Billy and that staff have been kind enough. They've invited me to do the prayer and national anthem several times. I even actually got to do a church service over the PA system one year, which was really cool. I love going over there. I don't know that I'm going to make it this weekend, but I really want to go to the Nationals. If you've never been, guys, all I can tell you is that if you like racing, it is one of the funnest weekends you'll ever have. To me, being able to hang out with friends, being able to see people that I don't get to see a whole lot and just reconnect, be able to get a hug and catch up what's going on with their families, that's a real special time for me. And the racing is always spectacular. People's careers are made there. I mean, lifelong memories are made there. And who knows who's going to come home with the wins this year. It'll be something you'll never forget. But outside of the racing, just having the fellowship and being able to hang out with your friends and make new friends, it's worth the trip to do that. So rain or shine, no matter what happens, it's going to be a good time at East Alabama. Go over there and support those people. And they've invested a lot to put these shows on. And we want to go over there and help them out and support them. So, again, our thanks to Brian Hester, Carolyn Johnson, Joe Lewandoski, and Chris Madden. We'll track you down later, buddy. Good luck to you this weekend. And we're getting ready to shut this thing down. And as always, we start with prayer. We end with prayer. And again, I want to say thank you to Raymond and Amy Poor. These folks are some of the nicest people that I've ever met. They have been kind enough to let us use this corner of their restaurant. And when I say a corner, they've not stuck us in a closet space. If you could only pan the camera and see, we've actually got part of the dining room here. And they set aside this spot for us every Thursday night. What you cannot see on camera is often there are many, many people over here that are looking and watching. And Raymond and Amy, some of the nicest people ever, cooked some of the best barbecue I've ever ate, really. And on top of that, just a great atmosphere. Matter of fact, Raymond and his team going to be heading out first thing in the morning. They're heading up to around Griffin. And Dale, how many people they feeding over there? 1,500 people, man. Get that. And I guarantee you, everybody that gets some of that food, they're going to love it. So we appreciate the folks here at Rescue Smokehouse Grill. Come on out and grab you something good to eat. They're going to be open until 10 tonight. And I promise you won't be disappointed. Again, thanks to Mike Hurd, 5-Star Hyundai. Thank you, Bill Cheek, Heartland EMS, Hugh Hardy, Johnny Walker, and Jason Black, Carol Sausage and Country Store. And to all of our guests that joined us tonight by phone, we really do appreciate it. Wherever you're at right now, if you will, please pause and let's end the show in prayer. Father, once again, we come to you in Jesus' name. Thank you for a good time tonight, Lord. We were able to visit with some people that we know and to be able to make a new friend in Joe Lewandoski. And Lord, as always, I pray for all of the competitors this weekend. It looks like the weather is going to clear out and the show is going to go on. And I know there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of competition, just a lot on the line over at East Alabama Motor Speedway. Every one of the competitors, we pray for everybody that works in the pit areas, all of the track workers that are near the action. And Lord, just everybody on that piece of property, just watch over them. And Lord, we pray for those that are still traveling on the highway, that you give them safe journeys and let them arrive safe. And Lord, we just lift up our country. We lift up our servicemen and women all over the world, as well as their families, our police officers, our EMTs, our firemen, and everybody that helps take care of us. We thank you for what they do. We honor and respect them. And Lord, as always, if there's anybody that is tuned into this show tonight that doesn't know you, that hasn't been saved, Lord, they may not understand. They may not fully know what it means to be saved. I just pray that you will put somebody in their path. And for those that do know, Lord, let them make the decision to give their life to you while there's still time. Let them bow their knee at the foot of the cross and give their life to you, Lord. Time is short. We know that. And I just pray that everybody in my racing family, the people that I know and that I love so dearly, Lord, just let them be ready, Lord. And thank you again for the chance to do the show. We appreciate it. It's a privilege and an honor, and we give you all the praise and thanks. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, folks, that's going to do it for another great night here on the Deep Dixie Racing Report. On behalf of my co-host and good friend, Mr. Brian Hester, doing a great job on the recap and the upcoming weekend. Appreciate that, Brian. Also, we could not do it without him, man. He is a good guy, been a friend of mine for a long, long time. We've worked together long before the Deep Dixie Racing Report. I tease him. I give him a hard time. It's only because I love him and because he's retired and he gets to sleep late. He is downtown Dale Hall. He's behind the camera. He does the heavy lifting on this show. And on behalf of all of us, we hope everybody has a great weekend, a safe weekend. God bless you. And Lord willing, we'll see you next Thursday night right here from the Rescues Smokehouse Grill with another edition of the Deep Dixie Racing Report. Good night.